Hey y'all, what's up and welcome back. So let's go back to Socrates for a second. Socrates is a lot like Jesus. He goes around town challenging people in the way they live their life. He writes nothing at all. He has these very devoted disciples who write down things for him. And let's be honest, he's killed unjustly. But he has one goal and one goal only, and that is that people care about being good people. He said, I just want you to care about the good of your soul, that it's as good as possible. That's it. Now, his disciple Plato has much broader ambitions. Socrates has this insight that everybody seems to know right and wrong, but nobody can say where we get our knowledge of right and wrong. We talk about this extensively in the Plato lectures. And Plato wants to develop this one insight, and he wants to solve this puzzle. Where do we get our knowledge of right and wrong? So he has this huge philosophical system. So Socrates is the guru, Plato's the philosopher. The thinker that we're looking at today comes after Plato, and this is, of course, Aristotle. And Aristotle's goal is entirely different. So Aristotle's dates are 385 to 323 BC. He comes to Plato's academy to study when he's 17 years old. He's this child prodigy. He's not really Plato's student. That's not quite correct to say that he's his student. We don't have evidence of them working together in a teacher-student relationship, although he definitely is enrolled in the school that Plato founds. But he's kind of like Mark Zuckerberg at Harvard before he goes off to found Facebook. He's this independent genius who's attaching himself to the most reputable institution of the day, to engage with its resident intellects, to make use of its resources, but he's very much doing his own thing the entire time that he's there. Aristotle has a different goal, I say, than Plato does. Whereas Plato's goal is to plumb the depths of this one insight that Socrates has, Aristotle, his goal is a complete systematization of all human knowledge about anything and everything. And the scary thing is not that he tries to do this, but that he tries and succeeds. He actually does this. We have a work called the Problemata, the problems or questions. And in it, Aristotle just lists all the questions that he's currently trying to answer, everything on his research agenda. And it's 250 pages of tiny print, tiny spacing, tiny margins, just listing questions about every possible thing you could think of. And this is what Aristotle's trying to do. So he is a philosopher, but he's a philosopher only because philosophical questions are some of the questions you can ask, and he's asking literally every question. So he leaves Plato's academy after studying there for about 20 years. He leaves Plato's academy to go be the tutor for the young son of Philip of Macedon. Macedon is the kingdom just to the north of Greece. And Philip said, I've got this son, he's about 14 years old, he's too bright for any of his conventional tutors, you're the only mind in the world that can really match wits with this guy, that can actually teach him, he's just some kind of a prodigy, I don't understand this kid. Aristotle says, I'd love to move back closer to home. Anyway, he's from Stagira, he's from the north part of Greece. His father was court physician to Philip of Macedon, so he knows Philip well. But he's also intrigued by the opportunity to work with this kid. And the kid's name is Alexander. And Alexander, of course, goes on to become Alexander the Great. He takes over the entire known world, and Aristotle can travel with him in total safety and comfort. He's got the strongest army in the world to protect him. He's got unlimited financial resources. He's got unlimited people to help him and assist him. And of course, he's a researcher, and so he studies the people and plants and animals and rocks and customs and cultures and everything everywhere he goes, writes down copious volumes of notes, and then takes it all back to Greece after he parts ways with Alexander the Great and starts to write down all of his works. Now, Aristotle is apparently a very skilled stylist, but we don't have most of what he wrote. We don't have his dialogues. We don't have his formal prose works. Most of what Aristotle wrote has been lost, which, by the way, tells us a lot about how much he wrote, because we still have 2 huge fat volumes full of Aristotle's stuff, and that's only a fraction of what he wrote, so a lot of it's gone. He wrote a ton. But he founded a school of his own, like Plato's academy. He founds a school called the Lyceum, and he delivers lectures to his students there, and he has these lecture notes that he uses for his own reference, and that's what we have. So I have these lecture notes that I use, and I work off them, and they're kind of scribbled down here. It's not going to be very useful for you, because I just have like a date and a note, and I make this comment, and if I think of some kind of silly thing to say, I'll put it in the margins or something like that. That's what we have for Aristotle. So we don't have his prose works, but we still have a huge amount of his stuff. We have his lecture notes. It's still very rich. And the work of Aristotle's that we're looking at in this section is his Ethics. Now, we talk in the very first lecture in this class about what ethics is, ethike, a word Aristotle invents, the study of ethos, the study of human character. And again, your character is the properties that make up you as a person without reference to your body. So not your physical properties, but your properties that define you as a person. Aristotle says, I'm studying that. And again, in studying that, he's not focusing on what you do, but on who you are. He joins with the other ancients in this respect. So Aristotle's Ethics is the work that we're looking at. And I'm going to see in the next video as we talk about Aristotle's view on the purpose of your life. Thanks.